Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Turbo Mock. Today we're going to be doing some trading inside the top 10. There's going to be some teams that are moving around for quarterbacks. Now, I'm not saying that these are definitely going to happen, but we're just going through scenarios. It's always fun to mock with teams who are trading around to get their quarterbacks, and we're just trying to have as much fun as possible inside the top 10. In the mock today, we're going to go ahead and take Houston's second overall pick, and we're going to trade up to the first overall. They really want their quarterback at 101. From that point on, we're just really going to ride with it, see what happens, see what kind of scenarios we can get into. So we're going to go ahead and just push this trade through. We're not going to get into the logistics of these trades. They're very hard to predict, and they never end up being accurate. So we're just going to go ahead and give Chicago 2 picks in the first round pick. They're going to get the 102 and the 112, and then we're going to give Houston the first overall. With the first overall pick, Houston Texans are going to take their favorite quarterback in the draft class. For this mock, we're going to go ahead and take Bryce Young. We'll see how the draft process plays out. CJ Stroud could be the #1 quarterback in the draft, who knows? But for this case, we're just going to take Bryce Young. After the Texans select Bryce Young 101, Chicago Bears are going to go ahead and take Will Anderson at 102. Now, this is a generational talent at outside linebacker. They're just going to get this guy on the roster. This team is sort of just building, and they're looking to accrue as many good players as possible. Getting Will Anderson at the 102 is such a home run pick, especially when they get the 112. Arizona Cardinals are on the clock now, and they're going to go ahead and take Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is a defensive tackle in this draft class that a lot of people also claim as generational. Now, I don't think he's that, but I think he compares very well to Jeffrey Simmons of the Titans. That's a player you want on your roster, especially at the 3rd pick overall. The Cardinals are a team that just desperately need really good players on the defensive side of the ball after losing some really good players in the past couple of years. We're here at the 4th pick overall, and this is a dream scenario for Indianapolis, it seems. CJ Stroud's still available. They didn't have to trade up. They're going to go ahead and take CJ Stroud with the 4th overall, and now hopefully they get their quarterback of the future. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock. The Seahawks don't love the options that are there for them at 5. The Atlanta Falcons are on the phone with them right now, and they're looking to trade up for Will Levis. The reason they're looking to call for Will Levis is because they have 2 teams right ahead of them at picks 6 and 7, Detroit and the Raiders, who could potentially be looking to grab Will Levis here. You can use your imagination of what kind of picks or players this would take to move up, but Atlanta gets up to the 5th pick, and they're going to go ahead and take Will Levis. Detroit's sitting here with the 6th overall pick, and they are very happy that Myles Murphy is still sitting here. They're going to go ahead and add Myles Murphy. In my opinion, this is a player that's a very similar prospect to like Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau. It's a very special player to get here at 6 overall. Word on the street is the Raiders are going to be heavily pursuing Tom Brady in free agency. They've also looked into Jimmy G, so we're going to go ahead and make the assumption that maybe they get one of the vets. They're going to go ahead and take the best tackle in the draft class right now. I would go with Broderick Jones here at the 107. Is that their offensive tackle 1? Who knows, but we're going to give him to him anyway. After electing to trade back with Atlanta, Seattle sits here with Brian Brzee on the board. They're going to go ahead and take him. They're going to get a really good interior defensive lineman, and they've also gained picks from that trade up from Atlanta. This is a team that has struggled with the run all year long. This is a team that needs linebackers, defensive linemen. They're just getting any help they can get, and Brian Brzee is a great pick here. The Carolina Panthers are a team that are desperately looking at quarterback. Anthony Richardson's still available. They're going to go ahead and take him. I'm not sure if he's a top 10 pick. We have seen some crazy picks in the top 10 anyway, and this guy alone, just from his traits, his size, his speed, crazy arm, it would not shock anyone if he got drafted in the top 10. The Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock, and they're not in love with any of the prospects here. The Patriots are on the phone, and they're looking to move up for an offensive tackle. There's 3 potential teams here that could take an offensive tackle before New England's on the clock. So New England's going to move up to this 10th overall pick to make sure that they get their guy. You can use your imagination however you want. We're just going to push this trade through, and New England's going to go ahead and take Paris Johnson. We haven't taken them yet for New England. They already tried the undersized tackle experiment when they drafted Isaiah Wynn a few years ago. They're going to go ahead and take a guy who's very similar in size to Trent Brown, comes from Ohio State, and this is a team that just desperately needs offensive line help. We've routinely drafted offensive tackle for the Titans. We're going to go ahead and give them a complimentary piece to Treylon Burks here. And we're going to draft Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison profiles more as like a little bit of a slot guy, faster, quick twitch, can get open fast. That's kind of the opposite skill set that Treylon Burks has. So they're trying to just complete that wide receiver room. The Chicago Bears are on the clock with the pick that they just picked up from moving back to 2nd overall. They're going to go ahead and take Quentin Johnston. and they're going to pair Justin Fields up with an alpha X wide receiver. Next on the clock, we have the Jets, and they're going to go ahead and solidify that offensive line. We've continuously drafted tackle for the Jets, and I feel like that's just the position that they need the absolute most. They have so many questions on that offensive line. They're just going to go ahead and take Peter Skoronski and fill a lot of those holes. The Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock now, and they're going to go ahead and take Brian Branch. Brian Branch is really just a versatile chess piece in the defense. This is a team that has a very strong defense as it is, but if you can just add that one superstar player, someone who can take over the game with a forced fumble or an interception, big tackles for losses or sacks, Brian Branch is your guy here at 14. This is the easiest pick in the whole draft every single time I do it. Jackson Smith-Njigba sitting here for Green Bay is perfect. This is a team that desperately needs a reliable slot option. I'm not sure who's quarterback next year, but they're going to love this pick here. The Washington Commanders are on the clock, and this team has repeatedly made it obvious that Sam Howell is their guy moving forward. Now, is that the right decision? I'm not quite sure. We're going to back it up anyway, and we're going to get him a left tackle. Drafting Anton Harrison here, although it feels like a reach, I think he's just a great pick. Shoring up that tackle spot. This is a guy who has versatility on the offensive line. He's played both left and right tackle. He'll probably start day one. Pittsburgh's on the clock, and the very first corner to come off the board comes now. I find it impossible to pass up on Joey Porter Jr. because the team's needs and the history with the team. So we're going to go ahead and take the potential CB1 in this class. We're going to follow up the Pittsburgh's draft pick with another cornerback. We're going to pair Jeff Okudah with Christian Gonzalez with this pick. This is a team that desperately needs back-end help. Jeff Okudah isn't always healthy. Their secondary is very young. The team is growing, so you want to get a really good talent on the roster sooner than later. We're going to go back-to-back corner here. We're going to give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Devin Witherspoon. Now, if you guys watched the game last night, you guys would know that their secondary is complete trash, whether it's scheme or talent. I would love to give Tampa Bay a left tackle here, but there's just nothing that makes sense. We're going to go ahead and give him a late riser in Devin Witherspoon, and I think he's a very, very good talent. The more we dig into him, this might be a value pick here at 19. I'm not quite sure yet. Seattle's going to fill that void at linebacker here and take Trenton Simpson. Their game against the 49ers was insufferable. They have no speed on that second level. Jordan Brooks isn't healthy. We're just going to get him a really good linebacker here that can do pretty much everything. The Chargers are still looking for more offensive weapons. They're getting a new offensive coordinator. They've been lacking at tight end since they got rid of Hunter Henry. Although I think Gerald Everett's a good player, we're going to go ahead and take Michael Mayer, who's a very special tight end talent. This Baltimore pick right here is a little bit tough. We don't know what their future looks like with Lamar. Their running backs are not very healthy. Their wide receivers aren't very healthy. They need cornerback. They could use a linebacker. We're going to go ahead and give him just an insane talent here. We're going to draft Bijan, and he's going to be paired up with J.K. Dobbins. Now, I love J.K. Dobbins, but he is going to be on his last year of his rookie contract. He's struggled with health. And if you get a rookie or a veteran quarterback, you're going to be able to pair him with the best running back prospects in Saquon Barkley. The Vikings simply aren't good enough at cornerback position. We're going to go ahead and give him Cam Smith from South Carolina. Their best cornerback was like a 32-year-old Patrick Peterson this last year. Andrew Booth Jr. looks like he might just be an injury-plagued guy. He was hurt a lot when he was with Clemson. He's had a few different surgeries now in the past couple of years. We're just going to go ahead and fill that void with Cam Smith and get it over with. The Jaguars are on the clock, and this is a team that I've continuously drafted corner. They find themselves drafting Keely Ringo here with the 24th pick. He's going to pair real well with his former teammate Tyson Campbell. His traits alone make him a really good value here, but I would not be surprised if this is where he got drafted in the real draft. Not that he's overrated, but I think he's a little bit raw. I think his upside is immense, but the Jaguars probably get a steal here. The Giants keep this one simple and they take Josh Downs. This is a wide receiver that I feel like will squeeze into the back end of the first round. Daniel Jones has been amazing, but he also needs more weapons to be able to just elevate that offense. I think Josh Downs is a very versatile player. He's going to be super reliable, and he's very explosive. Dallas is a team that I have been saying needs a wide receiver too very badly. Although I think CD is a star, I think you need someone other than Dalton Schultz to be able to work alongside CD and just elevate that offense to its ceiling. We're going to go ahead and take Kayshon Boutte. I have no idea where he's going to end up getting drafted. He has some weird personality stuff going on, lack of production the last couple of years, but this is a guy who broke the SEC single game receiving record while he was just 18 years old. The talent's there. You just have to bet on being able to extract all that talent and put it on the field at the pro level. The Bengals are on the clock, and they don't have a corner worth a damn. We're going to go ahead and get them a versatile corner, someone who can play in the slot and the boundary. Clark Phillips from Utah is just going to fill that void very well. The Denver Broncos here are a beneficiary of a falling player. Tyree Wilson's still on the board, and the reason he's still here is because I find myself comparing him to like the Jeremiah Johnson situation from last year. I think he's a good power rusher. I don't know if he's a top 10 player right now. I think his upside's immense, but I really just don't know how to value this guy right now. In this particular mock, he's going to fall all the way to pick 28 for the Broncos. The Buffalo Bills are on the clock, and this team really needs a wide receiver too. They're going to go ahead and reach on one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft class, Zay Flowers from Boston College. That's a name you really need to pay attention to in the next couple months. He's super explosive after the catch, very shifty, dynamic player who can play on the inside and the outside. It'll just add another wrinkle to that offense, and he's going to be able to complement Stephon Diggs so well. Kansas City's a defense that really needs some restructuring. They have some good pieces, but they don't have linebacker depth. They're going to go ahead and take Drew Sanders here. This is a team that continuously takes players with immense upside. They normally do a good job of extracting all that talent. Drew Sanders is a special type of athlete. He's 6'5", 240. He's played both edge and inside linebacker. I understand they have Nick Bolton, but you can really stick Drew Sanders wherever you want on that defense and just make that second level much, much better. The Eagles are on the clock with the last pick in the first round. This is a team that really needs help on the interior offensive line. Now, I can't say I'm a guru at offensive line play. I'm definitely better at understanding tackle than guard, but we're going to go ahead and give him Andrew Voorhees here. A lot of the people that I trust and follow that study those kind of things are very high on Voorhees. It seems as though he's a plug-and-play starter and has some real Pro Bowl potential. With this pick, the Eagles line goes from like top 5. They fill a hole, and they're probably the best offensive line in football. Just a quick recap. We traded Chicago's first overall to Houston. Houston then goes ahead and takes Bryce Young with the first overall. CJ Stroud falls to the 4th overall to the Colts. The Falcons make a move. They move all the way up to the 5th overall to be able to take Will Levis. The Patriots trade up ahead of some offensive tackle needy teams, and they take their guy, Paris Johnson Jr. to the Pats. I'd much prefer Broderick Jones here, but Paris Johnson might be their guy. Justin Fields finally gets a wide receiver 1 in Quentin Johnston. Bijan Robinson goes to the Ravens. I know that's not everyone's favorite fantasy landing, but I think that's a very realistic situation. Justin Herbert gets Michael Mayer. I think that'll be really good in the red zone. Both the Giants and the Cowboys fill their wide receiver 2 roles. The Bills go ahead and do the same with Zay Flowers. And the Kansas City Chiefs really just take an upside swing at Drew Sanders. They're trying to fortify that defense, be able to get after the quarterback a little bit better, and stop the run a little bit more efficiently. That's all I have for you guys today. We did a lot of trading in this one. Maybe the Patriots trade up for a tackle. I wouldn't hate it, but you get all your big teams that need their quarterbacks. They trade around to get them. Hopefully I gave you all your favorite players for your favorite teams, and if I didn't, I'll catch you in the next one.